What up, everybody? It's Tyler, the Superman of Blue, who's not wearing blue at the moment, and James, the Superman of Red. What up, James?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going well, man. We're all in. And if you're a Lifehouse fan, Lifehouse did a song called "All In," and it's actually the song that my friends played live as Jania and I ran out of the church after getting married. It's a little bit more information than anyone was wanting to know, but hey, that's okay. We got some news. We're just gonna hop on into it. James and I are recording a little bit later than usual because life happens. But let's get into some stuff. Ready? Here we go. Boom. Clayface movie has officially underway at DC Studios with Mike Flanagan writing. Okay, so first things first. I know Mike Flanagan actually wrote this and pitched this years ago. I actually listened to him talk about this on a podcast called Script Apart when he was talking about other projects that he had worked on. And it was one that he wanted to do. What I think is interesting is everyone talking about, is this going to be something in the Matt Reeves universe, or is it going to be in part of the DC studios? And my thought is, we'll just wait and see.
Right. Basically, if it comes to the Matt Reeves, it's going to have to be like a grounded noir kind of thing that reminiscent more of Cape Crusader, and if it's DCU, I mean, I want a Clayface horror movie with this big giant monster. Like, he doesn't have to be like huge all the time because obviously he's going to shapeshift into people and stuff. But like, I want it to be damn near creature feature. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. So, okay. Like I'm just, like I said, I'm just kind of taking it as the grain of salt. And
I mean, I'm excited and happy that they have put another project, have greenlit another project. So,
and this one I think is going to go faster because, like I said, I know Mike Flanagan had worked on it before, and he had met with the previous DC producers a while back. So
yeah. I don't know. I just, as we move forward, we're going to see how many projects continue to be made and come out. Things that are announced that aren't scrapped. Things that are announced that you never hear from again.
Well, speaking of that, it looks like the Swamp Thing movie might be on hold, or at least James Mangold's participation in it, because he had made a comment that after things that he had dealt with Dial of Destiny, it looks like he might not be doing Swamp Thing. So,
well, okay, when you toss your hat in the IP arena, sometimes,
or when you make a movie that just, I mean, just that movie had enjoyable parts, but it's just the whole, I don't know. There's certain elements you can do that are like, oh, cool, and then there's some elements you're like, okay, that's too far.
I haven't seen Dial of Destiny yet, so
I mean, it's worth
the last thing I saw of his is probably Logan.
I mean, he's a great director, and Dial of Destiny is worth a watch. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, I don't know. All right, moving on. Let's see here. DC Studios films. I had something for that. Hold on. Oh yeah, here's the official kind of announcement here. The dynamic duo is going to be in 2026. Or sorry, 2028, June 30th of 2028. 2026 is supposed to be Clayface, Supergirl, and the Batman 2.
3.5 years away.
And I'm just like, dang, dude. Like, I think about that, like, oh, I'll still want to see it. But then I think about, like, will my kids be interested in seeing it? Like, I don't know. I just 2028, I'm thinking, like, how old will I be? Holy crap.
Yeah.
And Solomon will be 12. Yeah, maybe, but still, like, yeah. All right. We got some new toy announcements. McFarlane put up this beauty here for pre-order, the Batman with King Kong, which actually comes with two different Batmen. It has one that's small to scale to being King Kong's hand, and then an actual full size Batman. I'm waiting for the in Godzilla. That's the one I want. And then we got this beautiful puppy that I have to buy as soon as it goes on pre-order.
Ooh, that's pretty. I love it.
The Fleischer McFarlane Superman. It'll be part of, I guess, next year's line, as we are in the end of December. So
Right. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I know. My wife to get it for me. Let's see here. What else? Oh yeah, and then here, some new Smallville pop figures. It's a very interesting time for these to come out. It's Doomsday from Smallville, which weirdly doesn't look too different from the Doomsday figure that I have in front of me. And then Clark here with the vest, which is the one that I need. The Kara one's not bad. Kara. I guess this would be Kara because that's what they called her on the show, even though I prefer Kara.
Yep, they called her Kara. She's Kara.
So it's kind of we've talked about this before, the Lana, Lois, all that fun. Lois is always Lois, but then there's Lana, which I mean, I guess if you look at the way it's written, it makes more sense. But I just don't like the sound of it.
Nah, I've always pronounced it Lana.
I know. Call me old fashioned. Just sometimes I just like the way things sound. You're like, oh, that sounds better. So pop figures. Let's get some. Get some.
Yeah. I don't have any of the original line, and those are 3 really cool ones. But the Doomsday, I'm actually pretty excited about.
Doomsday.
But I want all 3 of those for sure.
All right. Let's see here. We got the announcement here for. Oh no, wait, that's not actually. In April, we'll be getting. You can pre-order right now, but Superman and Lois, the 4th season on Blu-ray, will be coming in April. And Superman and Lois, the complete series on Blu-ray, which is cool. But I already own 2 of them, and I'm hoping to get season 2 on Blu-ray for Christmas. So I just pre-ordered season 4.
Nice.
Because I want my physical media.
Yeah, that's one I have to pick up physical. I own all 4 seasons digitally, but I got to get the physical.
Yeah, that's one show I double dipped on because I wanted to watch it and then I wanted the physical. Some cool stuff.
Ultimately, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I do too. So here are our top episodes from last year. Now, we did switch to a different platform and everything that provided our podcast. But this is what it was telling me. And there's been some weird inconsistencies and stuff. But our top episode was the Godzilla vs. Kong versus the Justice League and the death of Clark Kent. This had Solomon on it for that. The next one was the ranking of Superman-based TV shows with our good friend Anthony Desiato. The first look at the Superman suit. The DCEU end of an era, which was a part 4 of the DCEU special that we did a crossover with Brian the Guys. And then Penguin trailer, Jimmy Olsen, comics, and more. So that one was kind of surprising. But those were our top episodes of last year. Unless our next episode breaks the record, which we're still in December. So who knows?
That'll be pretty quick. But after tomorrow, who knows?
Yeah. So we got the release of the Superman motion poster right here, the first official poster for Superman with music playing with it. Now, James, what was interesting about this music?
Well, the interesting thing was I couldn't tell for like a day and a half, but I woke up the next day. So not a day and a half, but the whole day. And then when I woke up the next day, I could finally hear it. But it's like a vocalization of the John Williams theme.
But it's not the main. It's not the main. Like, it's later in it. So
Yeah, it's not like the
it's
dun, 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 dun.
dun 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 dun. Dun. No,
Yeah.
wait, that's Star Wars. I think that's something.
Flip it.
Yeah. Dun da 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 da. You know, Superman. It's later in the score. Just like when I showed you guys someone had put the John Williams music with Superman and Lois, but it was from the John Ottman Superman Returns scene where he's lifting the Kryptonite Island. But then we got this with a thing that said the trailer Thursday at 9 a.m., which is kind of crazy that it's 9 a.m. Eastern time. Because usually it's like 9 a.m. Pacific and then it'll be 12 for us.
Yeah.
But no, it's 6 a.m. there.
James Gunn's an early riser.
I guess so. I just feel bad for the guy because he now has to manage all these social medias. Like, he's got to make sure it drops on Blue Sky, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, all at the same time.
Right.
And this is our like first like poster image, like official thing here. That's cool,
Yeah. Kind
Um,
of seen that as stand-ups and
yeah.
backgrounds at comic conventions and things.
I'm surprised we didn't get that more of like the poster format. Like how the Man of Steel teaser was the symbol, and then the Superman Returns one was too.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
why didn't we get that type of poster as our teaser poster instead of the motion poster? But James Gunn also released a video segment today that was him talking about inspiration of how this movie's about hope and how it's about the kind of world and being a hero in the world when the world doesn't want that, which was a nice little listen to. And also about how it was David Cornsweat who eventually, they found the right pair of trunks, and they talked about how they weren't going to do trunks and they weren't focusing on that, but they kept testing things, and eventually they were trying different ones, and the idea was that the trunks were part of the costume that helped make him seem a little silly or anything, so that he would be more approachable. And I've talked about that before, about the idea of his costume being bright and everything to be like this kind of almost counter programming in a way of being a little bit more approachable and everything, so that people wouldn't be afraid of him.
Right. I mean, everything he can do, it's easy to see why people would be. And yeah, I mean, when they drew Superman originally, they made his costume akin to the strongmen of the day, kind of wearing the tights with the bottoms that kind of were over the top and stuff like that. That's the look that they gave him. And a quote that he had given was more pro wrestler like.
Yeah.
That would be akin to,
Where we
one
like,
of the facsimiles to a strongman performer.
I was able to pull that track real quick for everybody. Right here's where you can tell what it is.
This is the spot that I finally heard it. Right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those 4 notes.
So, what's interesting about it is it sounds like the John Williams score being done by Hans Zimmer. And you know what I'm saying? Like, because it's very unique in its sound. And then yeah, so I'm excited when we get the trailer. And
Oh man, yeah, yeah. I can't wait.
so, but all right, so that's the news. We went through it quick because we got stuff to talk about. Okay.
So soon. We're getting that trailer so soon.
All right. So we're going to talk about our episodes of Superboy, and James is going to talk here. He's going to lead us on Kryptonite Kill, Season 1, Episode 12. A kryptonite
Uh,
meteor falls in Abyss Abba and is sent to Schuster for study. It turns up in Clark's class on minerals. There, Clark feels the pain of kryptonite for the first time. And
yeah, but so then we've got, but Lex Luthor learns of its value as an energy source and takes a piece of it. He uses it to power a machine that can knock out lights all over the city and allow him to loot stores and banks. When Superboy stops him, Luthor gives the rock to his girlfriend on a necklace. When a fire breaks out in Luthor's dorm room during a date, Superboy attempts a rescue and is made powerless by the kryptonite. Now, Luthor's evil may cause his own death. Luthor escapes the fire, leaving his girlfriend there to die. He sends Leo back in to get the necklace, and once the necklace is gone, Superboy returns to normal and escapes to bring Luthor to justice. Professor Peterson then gives Superboy the kryptonite in a lead box, and Superboy throws it into space. The only problem is there is one lone piece still attached to the necklace, flowing through capital city sewer systems, and could be found again.
dun dun dun. So this episode was cool. It's the first time kryptonite is introduced. It was cool seeing Clark really freak out when he starts to feel the effects of it for the first time.
Yeah, the first time he feels it, like he falls down, he's practically choking, he's sweating. Like they don't make an extra big deal about, this is the first time he's ever felt something so painful, but it certainly knocks him out.
And we get our appearance of old Lex Luthor, Scott Wells, and a very Zach Morris Lex Luthor.
Yeah. As soon as he popped up, I said, "Oh, it's a douchey Lex episode."
And do you see who directed this episode?
um, let's see. Jackie Cooper.
Yeah, Perry White himself.
Yeah.
Getting that interview when God spoke to Moses.
So yeah, that's that's pretty cool. But yeah, just the introduction of kryptonite, like you said, it puts him down, and yeah, it's funny to watch Lex dive after the necklace and it go into the sewer drain, him dive into a big old puddle.
Yep. It is. It is pretty funny though. So, all right. What's our next episode, Sir James?
So our next episode is actually part one of a two-parter. It's Revenge of the Alien, part one. The alien from the Alien Solution escapes after a thief steals the canister containing him. He wants revenge on Superboy for destroying his collection of warrior bodies. The alien possesses a policeman and stalks the Boy of Steel. When he attacks Superboy at an agricultural center, he accidentally kills the body of the policeman he's possessing, and in the process, he hurts Superboy. But when he tries to take over Superboy's body, he can't get in, and angry, he possesses the body of Clark's visiting father, Jonathan Kent.
Ooh. How'd you feel about this one?
Um, I felt like the police officer walking around possessed was trying out for a role as a Terminator.
Makes sense.
Um,
Yeah, I kind of felt like that too. I like seeing Jonathan Kent back. And did you catch that the writer was one of the writers was Mike Carland, and we had a new arrangement on the theme song.
oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. But yeah.
But yeah,
Just when
so
I
we
was
got the alien that possessed uh warriors and possessed Lana, the pink smoke alien that he trapped in a canister is back.
pink smoke.
Yeah, I mean that's what he was. He was a pink
Yep.
aura, but Superboy breathed him in like smoke, blew him into a canister like smoke.
That's
But
smart, Superboy.
yeah, it's funny he takes over a police officer though in a van, and he's got this heavy weaponry because when I think of cop cars, I think of an RPG.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, you
every
don't?
time cops go someplace, they blow shit up. Oh, sorry, yeah, they blow stuff up.
I mean, that's what I think of.
Yeah, being cops is like bad boys.
Mm-hmm. It's the 80s.
Yep.
All right. So what happens in the second part?
Yes. So, part two. Now controlling Pa Kent, the alien makes his move to get revenge. He kidnaps Lana and holds her hostage on a rooftop near Schuster University. Clark sees his father on the news with Lana and realizes something is wrong. When Lieutenant Harris tells Superboy that the cryogenics lab was robbed the night before, Superboy realizes who he is dealing with. He finds Pa Kent and tells the alien that he will allow it to enter his body as long as he lets Pa Kent go. The alien agrees, and Superboy takes the alien to Professor Peterson's lab. After the alien enters his body, Superboy activates a kryptonite ray in the lab. The kryptonite begins to kill Superboy, and the alien inside is in agony. Superboy realizes he is dying. Pa Kent helps him move into a cryogenic freezer. Inside, the alien exits Superboy's body, not realizing where he is. Once he goes into the cold air, his gaseous body freezes and he becomes solid. Then it breaks apart into hundreds of pieces. Pa Kent is cleared with the police department, and Superboy survives his exposure to kryptonite.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, the Professor Peterson has created a ray that harnesses some of the energy, some of the radiation of kryptonite. He actually uses it to like peel off a little bit of Superboy's skin.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, actually. A little unnerving too.
Hey, came up with a device so quickly like that.
Yeah. Hey, Superboy, I got something for you. What?
Right? You know that rock that like knocked you unconscious? Like, now I've made it into a weapon.
What? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, right? He just takes it casually, just in stride.
It is what it is. But
Hmm.
it was a nice two-parter with Jonathan.
It was funny to see Pa Kent like acting very menacing. Like he was acting off, but everything he said was so menacing. It was like I don't I even though Lana's known him all her life, I don't think she would have went with him.
She's like, Pa, Pa. So, but all right, let's get into this here. We got some comics. Go a good things to talk about with the comics, but we're gonna start with one particular. So let me pull something up here. Now, in our comics section of today's episode with James Cole.
What are these comics?
Huh? What? Have you read the Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age? Have you read the Kryptonian Age for Gotham by Gaslight?
I am, I believe, 2 issues behind. If the last issue has come out yet.
Yeah, it has.
Okay, then yeah, I think I'm 2 issues behind on that one.
Okay.
So I started it.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk about it, but I don't know. I just
put it this way, I haven't gotten to the point where any Kryptonian has really shown up or anything yet.
I don't know. I'm not a fan. I was excited about it, and I just don't like really what's happened with it.
It's like at least 3 issues of like a ring that you think might be kryptonite, and I'm not sure if it is or not. And then Superman might be a cowboy. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, we'll touch back after you finish. Okay, did you finish reading Kneel Before Zod?
No, I did not finish that series. That
Me
one
neither.
fell off for me.
And I usually read like everything on the app, but no, I didn't either. I'm trying to get something to load here for me. I'm trying to scroll. So last time we were in Action Comics, we touched on the House of Brainiac. And that was episode or issues 1066. And then we went into this time with 1067, and it was what was under Superman All Stars, 1068 and 1069. And it was Gail Simone and Eddie Barrows. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't like it. Eddie Barrows' art was good. They used the more Fleischer looking S symbol, and I guess there were stories that were supposed to take place in the past. But I'll be honest, I did not like it.
I mean, yeah, it took place in the past, but I think the idea of that character that he fought supposed to come back after him later.
Yeah, it just
I think that's what that was. Yeah, it was very Silver Age in the world, the way everything was, because it was supposed to be older. I think even the design of Lois is like a dress and headband kind of a thing. So yeah, it's definitely kind of an old style story book, as well as its design and the time period it's kind of supposed to take place in.
and
it was at least it was just a three issue arc.
Right. And I don't know, it just threw me off. I felt very, I don't know, like not out of place, but I don't know. It really just kind of threw me off. And it was like, oh, this is what we're doing. What?
Right.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, so we got 1070 all the way through 1076, and those are Phantoms.
Yeah, so we're gonna I haven't read 76 yet, And I don't know if 76 is the conclusion
I think
or
it
not.
came out just today, and
It
actually, I don't believe it's the conclusion yet.
So we're gonna wait because it's an ongoing now weekly book, and we're gonna look at that in January because it is one continual story. So as far as Action Comics now, I'm kind of trying to stay back because that starts the All In, which we're getting to. And we'll jump over to this here, World's Finest, which is what they call James and I when we hang out.
Yeah, buddy.
They're like, they see us hanging out, like, oh, there's the World's Finest. Uh, wish it would load faster, but yeah. So we have issue 30 and 31, which then 32 and 33. Have you been reading World's Finest?
Actually, these 3 issues I have not gotten to read yet.
All right. Well, they're fighting Calypso.
Eclipso.
Yep, I just said Calypso. Yay. I need sleep.
Man, I
But
feel that. Yeah,
okay.
last one I read for that was World's Finest, the Trinity's first adventure revealed.
Yep. So what did you think of that book? Let's talk about that one. Because that's really right before we jump into the all in, because even though uh the next issue, I thought this was a cool story because the art was good. Um
Yeah. Um,
I like that Robin's a part of things. And like it's Robin like in his shorts. Um Death in Paradise. And they're brought here because there's been a murder on Themyscira. And how it's just interesting because they talk about men setting foot there and Superman like the whole time is just like hovering
yeah, he doesn't walk around.
so that he's not setting foot on Themyscira. Uh, so, um, but uh, this Prometheus they fight with the Prometheus flame.
Yeah.
I like when they have the idea that it's Paradise Island, but it also is the doorway to the underworld.
Yeah. It's they guard Doom's Gate. They guard the gates of Tartarus there.
So that's always a good one, like
Yeah.
storyline. This book never lets down. But now, okay, so that's kind of the quick catch up because now we are all in, and
Yes, all in.
now we're in the all in era. And have you read, first of all, as we get into this? Actually, let's get into it. The all in special, which is the main book we're here to talk about. And you're like, just one book, Tyler? Well, yes, because this is a dense book. And
Yeah,
I have
it's
read it twice, and I still feel like I need to read it again.
uh, um well, so I mean basically when somebody asked me like kind of what this whole thing was about, and I mean I broke it down into, uh Darkseid forced the Spectre to merge with him because he needed to kind of know something, and kind of figuring that he is um, this antithesis, this dark opposite that must exist. Um,
He's like a
he was
pillar of
eventually,
reality.
yeah, he's like a pillar of reality, and based off of, I forget exactly how it happened, but when they stopped him, or when he ultimately ended things himself. Maybe it was there was a miracle machine involved.
Yeah, he builds a miracle machine. All right, so 52 days later, after the events, so the special, the all-in special is broken up into two parts. The first part is Alpha, and I love the art in this.
Yes.
Daniel Sampre, love it. And it talks about how they used all this technology, all this alien technology and magic to make the Justice League cards. And we see all these people being invited to join the Justice League at different levels. And they kind of talk about real quickly, they hit, and it all starts. It says after the darkness, the loss, the betrayal, the nightmare, the change. So darkness is Dark Crisis.
Yep.
Loss, I wasn't sure exactly what it's referring to. Betrayal was what started the dawn of DC. That's when the Lazarus Reigns came.
Yep.
The Nightmares, of course, was the big Nightmare event. The Change was the Beast War. And then the Brainiac, and then the Absolute Power.
Yep.
So basically everything's happened. And we see all these people getting cards. We have Starfire, Roy Harper, Robot Man rejects it, Metamorpho, Supergirl, Robin, Damian tosses his, Fire and Ice. And then we go to Booster Gold, talking to Superman. And Booster talks about his memory of seeing the blank card. They have a new base, huge watchtower center. Looks like a spaceport.
Yeah.
And everybody's showing up, and we find out that the question is their security, and now they're the Justice League Unlimited. That's an awesome picture, and of everyone that's there. There's Mr. Terrific talking. There's Alan Scott. Robin's even there, even though he tossed his card, which is hilarious.
Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of people. I mean, there's Swamp Thing and Robin. You got Firestorm and Shazam, Donna Troy and Dr. Light, Blue Beetle, Black Lightning, Dr. Chimp, Yara. I mean,
and then right as they're talking about everything and the hopefulness and the joy, something happens. And what's neat is they start saying dark side, dark side. And even the words are flipped upside down, and Darkseid appears, and he looks pretty awesome. This image right here of Darkseid with the axe hand,
yeah,
his one hand is an axe, and they all start fighting him, and he's yelling and screaming and talking to someone. Now, what I find interesting is there's one panel where Batman's in a different costume. That makes no sense why he's in that costume, and he's only in it for one panel.
Is it the one where he's got the gold? It's almost like a blue cape and cowl with a gold bat symbol across the chest.
Yep. So they're fighting Darkseid. You have Zatanna working Superman, tries to stop the Omega Beam so they shoot at him. And then there's a lot of crazy machinations going on with magic and everything right here. And they have a portal, and you see Darkseid talking, and you hear a boom tune, and they're like, "Is Darkseid dead?" No, he's gone. And he's like, "Everyone return to your stations. We have our first mission." And it says later, Orion shows up, talks about Darkseid, that he's missing. That blank membership card now has Darkseid's
Omega symbol.
And they talk about the Elseworld, which was like the Alpha world. And then this is the most holy crap sentence you could probably ever see in a comic. And I'll read it. After Perpetua and the Darkest Night defeated our timeline was restored and we detected new worlds in the multiverse. When we first discovered this alpha world, we couldn't see into it, but we were able to deduce that it was a primordial state and unfinished, close to our vibrational pattern, but new. And now it has changed. It is now a finished world that radiates the same kind of energy as Darkseid. And then they start talking about how the Omniverse was restored and all this, and just kind of like, hey, we're catching you up on all the crises that's happened and where we are. And
yeah, like you remember this that came about like long time ago when we did like Infinite Frontier. Like we're gonna kind of dip back into that idea.
and then basically they say that only a time traveler can go there, this rip of reality. And they send Booster Gold with Skeets. He gets there. There's no Skeets. And
But the Omega symbol on the side of the Daily Planet.
Yep. And what do you call it? He can't get home, and then we get this thing where like he says that ring, and it's like it looks like a Legion ring, but with like Darkseid Legion ring. And then we hear, "Oh no, I finally have an army." And then we get a page of like my Legion, and it looks like Legionnaires, but are Darkseid Legionnaires. And then it's the all-in special #1 Omega. And then the artwork changes. And this is 52 days earlier. And this is when we start learning about him making the miracle machine, and Darkseid has to sacrifice his blood. So he cuts off his hand. As you do, right, James?
Yeah. When you sacrifice blood, you have to chop off an entire limb. Otherwise,
then,
blood sacrifices don't work.
What do you call it? And then he has more blood. He sacrifices who?
Calabac.
Tosses him in and sacrifices him. We see Calabac. We see Grail.
He punches the stump through Calabac and kills him and throws him in to get more of his blood into the miracle machine.
And then he just goes on a rampage. We see him, it says he's through hell, and we see him just blazing through, destroying. I will not stop until you give him to me. He wants the Spectre. Then he's blazing through heaven. Then the dark side of the moon, where he goes and he annihilates Eclipso. I mean, he destroys him. And then through that, he's able to bound Corrigan. And then he talks about the request ends, the quintessence. I have a miracle machine. And you start having like the Phantom Stranger and others are popping out begging Darkseid not to do this. But then he bonds. He says, please, Euxis, stop. And he bonds. And when he does that is when he appears with the Justice League, and the Spectre is battling him the whole time on the inside. And he talks about how things should be. We see, he says, I can see every fight I would have. I see that he is right, the Spectre, the role of mine. It would always be. And we see like Doomsday, Ares, and Necron. And it says, Darkseid ends. Thank you. And it happens, and I end. And this is where he creates his world, a world where heroes are born of facing greater odds. Instead of being raised in paradise, they are raised in hell. And we see the absolute Wonder Woman, where all their advantages are gone, where they are the small chaos rather than the system. There's Batman. A world where hope is the underdog, where it is the villain, the opposing force, and where it will have to burn brighter than ever to survive it all. And there's Superman. In a universe that exists out of time and space, hidden as the trump. The truth was hidden from me, its timeline completed and yet still solidifying. And then we kind of get that same thing with Booster again. And then that's the special. So what do you think, man?
I mean, it's a lot, but it's really cool because they did talk about how I do remember back when Infinite Frontier had started up and the multiverse was kind of uh open and to totally open again, and they were supposed to be able to um but the vibrations were different. Like Flash couldn't go to the worlds like he could before. um and there were some things going on, and they did speak of like um a world out there. They talked about that a world out there is very similar to theirs. But that's really like the last that we could um the last that we heard of it in any real sense. uh
Mm-hmm.
so it was kind of almost like discarded, almost gone, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
out the back of your mind. And so for them to bring that back around to kind of, that's the birthplace um of Darkseid's Omega universe. I mean, that's pretty cool, actually. I mean, just to be able to bring it back around like that, use something they've brought up. So, uh, getting to see the heroes who they're supposed to have the heart of the characters that we know of, the characters that we love. They're supposed to have that same heart, but in a world that's, you know, opposing them at every turn. That
Have you read Absolute Batman and Wonder Woman?
yes, I read issue 1 of each. I know issue 2 of Batman just dropped today, and I haven't had a chance to read part 2.
All in. Yeah. What's funny is this all in poster here, the Flash right here, because then they changed the Flash's costume, and I don't like the new costume. There's a lot of black in it. What do you think of just overall thoughts and feelings towards Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Batman?
Uh, they were interesting tales, interesting ideas. Some things that I did note was like with Batman, Bruce is not like um your rich kid who has all these advantages and everything. He's a little different. Seems almost darker and a little more violent than we even know him as. But also, when Alfred's observing him, he talks about how uh, the planning and the strategy he implores on his actions and his missions uh, leaves people, not like, he doesn't kill people.
Yeah,
When it comes down to it, he tries to avoid that at all costs and stuff. So the bits of the heart of the character, that we know of. Um, and then Wonder Woman, I still need to see where it kind of goes. Like, we get so little of Wonder Woman. It's in that one, it's really all her past.
yeah,
Kind of like the idea of her being taken from Hippolyta, where Apollo takes her from Hippolyta, banishes her, the baby, to Tartarus, to the underworld with Circe, and Circe raises her where the word Amazon has been banished, has been abolished. It's kind of like the sigil in Agatha all along on
yeah.
Billy when he tries to talk. Like, you try to say Amazons and it doesn't come out, that kind of thing. Um, but um, she raises her, and it's funny because she kind of like, well, a baby won't be able to survive here, and it kind of did the Hercules killing a snake in its crib kind of allegory, with a snake coming up to baby Diana and her like strangling it out or whatever she did.
Oh snap!
So yeah, some interesting stuff, but then she she kind of makes her way out of there, and she's fighting like an invasion of like hell, like demonic beings. So yeah, interesting to see where that one's gonna go.
Yeah, I kind of can't wait till the first 6 issues, like the first arc is done, to really kind of get a feel of the characters. Because right now it's like, okay, this is absolute Wonder Woman, but it doesn't feel like it's Wonder Woman just yet. I'm more interested in like the stories where Wonder Woman's daughter Trinity is coming into play, as she's now supposed to be like in our continuity. But like there's been all these stories of like her being raised and hidden in the background with John and Damien. So
Yeah,
I'm really curious, like when Trinity actually officially shows up. Are we going to get like a new Trinity book? Like that's the because like John Kent right now is not in really any book. He's not really being done in anything right now.
yeah, no, issue 2 just came out on Titans. I haven't had a chance to read that, but I know he was in that book for a little bit, but right
Yeah,
now
for a
I
very
haven't seen him anywhere.
all right. So the last book we're going to discuss, and then we'll just kind of talk a little openly, is Superman
Number 19, All
number
In.
9, which is the first issue of Superman All In, with Superman on the cover with Superwoman. And it says legacy number is 862. It says the end. And we see fire and the shield and a hand with chains at the end of time. It says the many deaths of Doomsday. Joshua Williamson, writer, Dan Mora, artist. And then we go back to Metropolis, and Lois is editor. And what I think is funny is Dan Mora drew himself as a typist in the Daily Planet.
Oh, nice.
But we see Lois, she ducks into a broom closet where there's Clark already. They look at each other. We get 2 different shirt rips, and they're both zooming out past Cat and Lombard, and they're flying. And we have no idea what's happened. Like, where Lois got these powers or nothing. And they're fighting the Atomic Skull. We still have the Super Core. We have bearded Lex Luthor, who still has no memory of who he was, hanging out with his daughter and
Since
what he
House
was
of Brainiac.
Yeah, and what he was doing. And
She shows him a video of himself like, "I'll kill you, Superman," or whatever, in a mech suit and everything, looking like maniacal. The art on that was pretty great.
Yeah, all the art for this is beautiful. And then, the big thing is we get Doomsday that shows up, and he is like evolved, and he is looking ridiculous. And Superman's scared because, of course, because Doomsday is the one that killed him. And Lois says, if this is anything like the first time you fought Doomsday. And then we have flashes back of Lois holding Clark's dead body in that famous scene that we've had. And then her eyes light up. She's like, let's do this. And it's Doomsday is roaring. And my tablet is frozen. This app.
The only weird thing that happens to me for the most part on the app is it giving that like blue completed line underneath the books that I haven't even read yet.
Yeah.
Saying I've read books that I haven't read, so that's annoying.
Yeah, thanks a lot, app. But like I said, we get that art, and then Doomsday just kind of disappears back into a portal, and then the time stops. And it's the Time Trapper. and the time trapper is sitting there talking with Superman. And I'll just here we go. I'll do some dialogue. The time trapper, or sorry, because the moment is special, the horror that happens next will decide the fate of everything. Now I have died many times before, once at your own hands, back when you knew me as, and Superman says, how? And then you turn it and it says, Doomsday. We have been enemies for millennia, Superman, but now I need your help. And we have a very skinny, humanist looking Doomsday.
Yeah.
And there's Sayla saying hi.
I thought you were Brian.
That was first. But yeah, so
How many do you have?
look at that Doomsday. What are your thoughts, James?
I think it was funny just because how we were talking about the evolution of Doomsday and how they keep bringing him back, and the different things that they do with him, and the quick ways that he's dispatched. But the more they bring him back over and over again, like the one thing we got in like Superman and Lois is like Superman never even beat Doomsday in Superman and Lois when it comes down to it. In the end, it came down to a team effort and self-sacrifice. But to have, honestly, in my opinion, I kind of feel like it's interesting how an idea could be that he would be this, that he could like evolve a brain and evolve a personality and a being, for the fact that yes, he is this immortal creature, and he can't, or he, even if he dies, he comes back. I mean, considering if that's the case, like if he's immortal, either he's a force of destruction, a force of nature and destruction, for all eternity, or he eventually does have that chance to evolve. And I think it's an interesting idea to explore.
I think we're at the point where we need to do something like this. And it's like we talked about this because we just had our Patreon watch of Superman Doomsday, and we had a good chat in there about the character and where it's at and what it's been done and how it originally was intended, but how they've moved it in different directions. I feel like there's nothing else left to do with the character but do something like this. And that's really
interesting to explore. I was curious as to what we were going to do with Doomsday coming back. I know I'm interested in like the Superman of Hell, Bloodwind, and I thought that might have something to do with it, because we knew like Doomsday was trying to break his way out of hell and everything. So to see Doomsday like right out front in the first issue, and then have this twist of this future Doomsday freezing time and needing Superman's help, I was like, wow, this is not what I saw coming at all. So I can't wait to see the next issue, which I'm hoping comes out next week on the app.
Same
like
here.
Feels like it's time.
And then the last page says, coming to Superman and DC All In. How did Lois Lane get her superpowers? What sinister secret does the Time Trapper hold? When will strike a future of horrors? And good luck beating this guy. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this character and this book, and with Lois back as Superwoman, because I did just for fun read the Rebirth where Lois Lane was Superwoman for an issue.
Okay.
Just kind of like stepping back into what that was. And I kind of like, it is interesting because we talked about how the super family had gotten so big, and now we have another member of the super family.
Well, now we got a whole super family to be able to face off against the Doomsday.
So we have Superman of China. Okay, I'm typing this. Superman, John, which I hate that he's not Superboy. We have Superboy, Connor, who should have his own title, his own code name, I mean. The twins,
Mm-hmm.
Supergirl, Power Girl,
Yep.
Superwoman,
Lois Lane.
Steel, and Natalie, and maybe Mon-El.
And maybe Lana with the
And Lana,
Superman
yeah.
energy powers. The Superwoman
Lana
energy
Lane.
powers.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, potentially 13 members of the super family. That's a lot of power for someone who's supposed to be the last Kryptonian. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're great characters, but I really feel like we needed to spread some things out. But I'm excited with this book, but that's where we're at tonight, folks. James and I keeping it all in.
Well, they are spread out for the moment. I mean, like I said, we don't know where John is.
We'll discuss that more next time because of what happens in the Action Comics run that we'll talk about next month.
That is where we do have like at least 3 teams, 3 groups of people, 3 stories running concurrently.
Yep, and I'd rather wait till that's completed. So I have that slated for next month. So hopefully that storyline is done. So, but yeah, so that's it for now. We're all in on the books. I'm kind of reading all of them as they come each month, since All In is an initiative to jump in. I'm kind of reading each book now as on the app. I read all of them.
Yeah, so. I've read Batman. I've read Green Lantern. I've read Birds of Prey. I'm really excited for Justice League Unlimited and New Gods when those come out.
Yeah, I'm excited to read.
I'm reading those. Mark Waid's writing Justice League Unlimited with Dan Mora on art, so it's gonna be
Dan
sick.
Morris, he's tearing it up. So the guy deserves it. He's amazing. But
yeah, it's gonna be a pretty great book, I feel, as well as I mean, yeah, the art is just that's great.
All right, everybody, get ready for our next episode. Will be our final episode of the year. And until then,
and it's gonna be a doozy.
Yes, it is.
Look up in the sky!
Thank you for joining us today on the Krypton Report. We ask you check out our social media. We have a YouTube where we do YouTube specials. You can check out our $1 Patreon, like we talked about, where we do specials. Check the QR code here. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on X and all other social media.